Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Karen Makowski, aka Butterfly Karen. I am the lead in paranormal investigation on any of my cases, parapsychology and paranormal investigations. Welcome. Okay, so today, it's an interesting video because it's an update of clarity, etc. As you guys and gals know, I timestamp everything, my books, everything, everything from novels to every single thing I do. What I create, especially my intuitive intelligence data reports, everything to do with my psychic abilities, every single thing. Everything is timestamped. My videos are timestamped for a reason, because my field of parapsychology and paranormal science is very hard to prove, as we know. So this is why I do it, because especially when I'm discussing cases regards to I guess some people call them prophecies, I just call them sort of what's coming. They're just intuitive intelligence. It's kind of the heads ups, their warnings, it's pretty much what's kind of, what's going to come, predictions, etc. Now, many labels for it, but I'll stick with predictions. But the reason is because I'm about to prove there is something a hell of a lot more to my abilities, especially. This is just confirmation for me, as well as the video I've done in regards to IIDR, Intuitive Intelligence Data Report. That's going to be airing in March. That's when I was working on the 8th dimension. Now, I'm just going to quickly go through a couple of things, because clarity not only just kicked in this week, but it pretty much proved, like, the message wasn't just mainly for me, and that there was a big strong message in that whole morning, because it started in the morning, and being connected to 8D, it didn't stop. The data didn't stop coming in, which is why I was sort of connecting with you guys during the video and just sort of pulling in what was coming in, because it was obviously for the collective, but there was strong messages in there for me, and that's what happened. So now I actually connected, I believe, it was, just got my notes, the 29th of April. Sorry, good Lord, where did April come from? That's just random, but nothing's ever random. So the 29th of January, 2023, the data, everything, the visuals and everything I was dealing with, they started coming in at 6:22 a.m. And that's why IIDR 24 is all about everything from that morning, even in the evening. So, right. Let me just, I'm going to discuss. So basically, I'm going to quickly discuss my clarity and the findings of what has happened since the 29th of January. And today is, oh, good Lord, the 6th February 2024. The time is 2:04 p.m. So I just want to kind of document that right now too. Now, so between the 29th of January up until today, it's been, I'm grieving right now, which is going to explain a lot. But after I finish this little piece, then I'm going to I've attached a snippet of what I was my findings that morning, because that video doesn't air until March. Sorry. I wanted to just sort of share a piece of it, of what I was taught, what my findings were. And then you'll be able to sort of come back to this and like, oh, well, okay. So I'm very transparent. And yeah, unfortunately, my predictions can involve me, and it can affect me in my private life. But, I'm a scientist as well. So I have to, even if it affects me, it's okay. I'll deal with it. I'll transmute the pain, as I always do. But what I'm saying is, I have to be transparent, because if it has to affect me, this is how I can prove it. This is my way of always being honest with you guys and gals, that there's so much to do with parapsychology. Now, like I say, the data that was coming through, I'm going to go for the findings, and then I'm just going to quickly, and then I'm going to explain what's happened since. So the data that came through like I say, on the 29th of January. That whole message felt everything to do with me getting bad news about losing a loved one, because even a few days before then, I was getting these sort of visuals. I was already seeing people from my past, like, oh no, and again, because I explained in the video, and what I do, and I've always had this is nothing new to me. I've been dealing with this since I was a child. But whenever I see somebody I know that I haven't seen for a very long time, and I'm sort of seeing them in sleep state and my dream state and meditated state, there's usually two things. They're going, I've got a download coming in already. They're going to contact me out the blue or just randomly, or they're going to pass over. So, and because I was seeing an old squatty friend that I haven't seen, I'm expecting obviously bad news, or I'm going to hear from that person. Then in the next sort of visual, I was seeing an old friend, school friend. We lost contact years ago, but I was seeing her, and as I was approaching her, she was reading a Bible, and she's not religious. She's an atheist. Well, I don't know if she is now, but she didn't believe in anything. Like I say, very low vibrational, but you know, like I said, so I feel like I'm going to be hearing some bad news about either that person's going to contact me randomly, or I'm going to hear about that person's passing. And as I was said in the videos, you know, this sort of thing comes in threes. Well, it did, but it could also be symbolic. This might not be coming, well, threes, yeah, because I lost Mia in September last year, my little soul sister, my little fairy child, my little cat. As I still got videos on my YouTube channel, thank God. And you know, if you look at all my past videos, you'll see her in my videos. She likes to be here, and I keep watching them only because I can see my little Mia. But that devastated me in September. And then I was and I sort of understand death. I'm pretty much like the doctor of death. I work with it. I understand it. I'm not afraid of it. It doesn't bother me. I work with it, and I work with victims, etc. But it just felt, for me, it was like, oh no, I know how this sort of rolls out. So, you know, I grieve very differently to people too. I grieve, but I have to pull away from people when I'm grieving. And I can't, it's hard for me to sort of connect. But that doesn't mean people that want to hurt me or attack me or send energy attacks, it's going to affect me because I'm sad or grieving. No. I don't drop my vibrational frequency in any shape or form, not even at my lowest level. And this, I guess, is the message for them. And I feel like as I've got a download coming, that's probably what this is for. When I'm grieving, I don't grieve like most people. I will transmute that pain. I will not allow it to make me be in so much despair that I will absolutely want to just go, because no, I can't do that. I can't do my job if I do that. Look, we all grieve differently. We all have pain differently, but and a lot of people, when they're grieving, they don't even realize they're lowering their vibrational frequency because they're in so much pain. That's perfectly normal. But because I know that, I don't let that happen. I don't let that happen to me. I won't allow it. So even when I'm grieving, etc., I will transmute that pain so I don't drop my vibrational frequency or lower it. Because I have to keep my vibrational frequency very, very high. And that's never going to change. So all those little human scumbags out there that are constantly trying to send energy attacks to me, have at it. It's not going to get in. Because they're probably, I already know, I'm very aware of a lot of like, oh yeah, she lost Mia. Woohoo! Those type of people, scum of the earth in human form. Vile, horrible human beings. But now I've lost a loved one, they're going to be overly getting excited, thinking that their stuff's working. It's nothing to do with them. They're not powerful. They're just silly little witches and warlocks, whatever they're labeling themselves. They're little gang stalkers. That's all they are. They are not powerful in any shape or form. And nothing they can do to me is even getting in, let alone affecting me. It's just, this is life. Death is a part of life. They don't control death. They're not that powerful. And the fact that they've got to get together with a covenant shows that's how the fact that they need multiple people to send energy attacks to other people just proves how powerless they are. Always remember that, people. If you're alone and you're powerful, you don't need anybody else. I don't need anybody else. My power doesn't come from hurting other people at all. Mine comes from the divine. So anyway, I felt like that needed to be said, but enjoy that, you little gang stalking scum. Losers, absolute losers. So now, clarity. So go back to clarity. Because as soon as I was said, when I came out of that visual of the old friend, the old two friends, I was like, oh, I feel like I'm going to receive really bad news. Like I feel like I'm going to lose a loved one. I just knew it. I just knew it. I was even speaking to my best friend, Lisa. I think they're like, something's coming. I'm ready for it, but something big's coming. I can feel it. I feel like I'm going to lose someone. So now, on the 2nd of February 2024, my father died. And I got the message long distance, obviously, because I live here in the States and my father was in England. And I've had a few devastating. I mean, I finally stopped crying, but I mean, I'll go through periods of it, but that's okay. So immediately, it took me a day or two to like let it dawn on me. Like I had to sort of grieve, and obviously right now I'm trying to get back to England for this funeral and everything, and it's a bit of a nightmare. So, but I got the clarity. That's what I knew then. Like, I mean, I was devastated, but I got the sort of knowing, like, wow, I knew something big was coming, but I didn't think it was going to be that quickly. It was like less than a week. So I realized, but that's kind of how sort of powerful my visions are anyway. Like, I've been feeling it for quite some time, like something big was coming anyway in my life. And I know something big that's amazing is coming too, but you can't have one without the other. That's the duality of life, unfortunately. When greatness comes, sadness follows too. You cannot have everything you can't have one without the other. So I've always accepted that. But, so yeah, my father passed away, and then they explained the next visual, the emu bird I saw. Now, an emu bird is Australian. It's native to Australia. So the fact that this massive, over 6-foot emu bird that was a colour of yellow, which emus are not yellow, but I just went straight to the Sesame, as I said in the video, I went straight to the Sesame Street bird. It's what it reminded me of. And the fact that it was protecting its children. It was the way it flew to me onto my roof. So I knew that message was symbolic for me. Now, the representation of birds in a dream visual or anything like that, the birds tend to be, even if you see birds, certain types of birds, they're constantly around. There can be representations of loved one's spirit, coming to give you warnings or messages, or just to let you know that they're there and watching you. Well, this emu, right, flew on my roof, and it felt very symbolic, like, what on earth is it doing on my roof? This is America, kind of not Australia, right? So, but because it was long distance, now when you think long distance in Australia is also part of the Commonwealth still, so it still has that British significance to it too. So that immediately told me, and the fact that I picked it up and brought it into my house, yeah, that's how intense the visual was. And it was trying to protect its babies, and I put it into my big room. So now I feel like the real message was, it was just to let me know that it was going to be a loved one of mine that was soon to pass over. And but the symbolism of that in the message in the video I'm discussing it's all to do with, like, I needed to keep my strength. I was even discussing, like, it's all to do with symbolic, to do with, like, don't be giving up, don't give up now, keep moving forward. But the symbolism, the spiritual symbolism was all to do with strength. And yeah, that kicked me in the teeth, like, oh God, yeah, I don't know where I'm going to get my strength from, but I mean, I am a strong woman anyway. So thank God I am a stoic, disciplined Sigma female. Otherwise, I'd just be crumbling on the floor right now. So I'm very grateful and thankful that I'm an incredibly stoic Sigma female and not an alpha female or a beta female, thank God. I'm not like those type of women. I'm not insulting them, nothing against them. I am, and there are not many Sigma females left on this planet, not these days anyway. They're out there, but few and far between. I'm proud to be one of them. We need more. We need more Sigma females. We don't need any more alpha females. We need Sigma females, but you've got to do a lot of healing and a lot of damage control work from within oneself. You've got to know yourself. So I'll discuss Stoicism and Sigma females in another video, but that's just kind of, but the point I'm trying to make is I am so grateful and thankful I am that type of woman, a Sigma woman, a Sigma female, because it's not in my nature to give up or lose any strength, regardless of who I've lost. I mean, like I say, thank God I deal with grief differently anyway. It's horrible, but so that really explained the emu bed, and the messages of I knew it. I even knew, like, I feel like I'm about to lose someone close to me, but I was like, wow, I mean, it's going to be really sad to hear about this person, but we fell out. We know we sort of lost contact years ago, but it's still going to be really sad. But then the other friend who was a squaddie, like that would have really upset me too. And it's like, oh, I've got to be ready for this. I've got to be ready for this. I feel like I'm going to be ready to deal with death, like grieving again. And then it all kind of made sense. Like everything, the clarity, it was somebody, it was just a loved one. It was my father. Now, when you watch the video, there is a part, it's the second part of the video. I didn't even realize I was discussing my father in the same video. I didn't even realize at the time that I was talking about my father in the past tense. And that was on the 29th of January, 2023. And he passed away on 2nd of February, 2024. It was only because what triggered me to rewatch that video was, oh, it all made sense because I had to do a quick clarity video like this one. But as soon as I heard it, I'm like, oh God, why was I talking about my father in the past tense? And you're going to hear you hear me talk. And then it all like, oh God, I knew. I was already being warned. I already knew, but it was like my ancestors and they were like, and the fact that I was talking about my father in the past tense so naturally, I didn't even think about picking up on that. And because I was so focused on all the intel. But again, it's the strangest thing because when I was on the 8th dimension, I always connect to the higher dimensions because there's ancestors there. There's different sort of sources that I get intuitive intelligence from, for people, for the collective, for different types of people. So I just felt like I was getting a lot of messages that day and I was still connected to like 8D. From the moment I woke up, I was not disconnected at all. Like I was constantly just getting downloads coming through and everything. And that's the main reason why I needed to like go into full-blown action and do a video. So, and do an interactive remote viewing session, and but it all made sense. So now I do get to see a lot of visuals of and predictions of people. Like if I see somebody and I see their death, and sometimes, like again, remember parapsychology and paranormal science, you've got to have an open mind, and it is not that literal. It's not literal to the point where everything needs to be open to interpretation, because even though I was getting a warning about my passing of my father and it was there, the symbolism comes in differently. So that's why data is very important, and it all will all come together. It all makes sense, and the clarity is there. So when I'm sort of seeing full visions of other people's death, I don't always get a death date, but again, destiny can change in a split second. Like just because I can see what's coming doesn't mean I'm going to get those dates, because that's the beautiful thing about destiny and fate. It can change, it can alter, it can, because time is millennia, time's man-made, but death is the death dates can't always be completely spot on. I mean, it's great if you can get an actual date. I mean, I have got dates in the past, but I don't focus on the dates because, like, I understand the way sort of the way the destiny is sort of moving all the time. Like, if a person's on the wrong path and they're going down the wrong path, and then I get a visual of that person's death, right? I might, the reason I'm probably not getting a death date, even though that person can look very similar to how they look now, that sort of thing. So I can get a feeling of when it's not going to be that far along. But I don't rely on the dates, because if that person was to just suddenly start the healing journey or have a spiritual awakening, it's going to alter that person's destiny path. So it's going to alter that. And when you alter your destiny path by healing and things like this and coming off the path you're on and getting back onto the one you're supposed to, that changes your death date. So when people go down the wrong paths all the time, that's not the path they were supposed to be on. If they don't get themselves back off that path and onto the path they're on, the death date will come early, because something bad's going to happen. And depending on what you're involved in, there's never a good outcome anyway. So let's not sugarcoat that reality. So usually, yeah, and that's why I always do videos. If I'm doing, I did a recent video last year of another person's death and how I saw it happening and everything. It was like, oh my God. But obviously I record it because the date is there. Even down to the description of the person and everything, or the people's, or the murderer and everything. So I don't ignore anything. But I still have to remain open-minded. Remember, just because I saw the way this person passed away, that doesn't mean that's exactly going to be the way that person passes away. They could pass away by something else. But to me, it had everything to do with what this person is like or involved in, and what this person does to others as to what sort of, it's like, it's just kind of like seeing, oh, okay, you're about to get punched in the face by karma, like yours is coming. And you're clearly not learning any lessons. You're not getting better. You're not doing anything differently. You're continuing to hurt. That's going to be stopped. And usually it's a divine intervention that's just going to stop those people. Like, those sort of people don't live like happy long lives either, right, at all. So regardless, because you cannot do what some of these people do to people and think you're going to live a happy long life. I don't think so. That's not, no. That's delusional. So yeah, I usually, I can get a full visual of a person's death and everything. And, but I don't want to see it. If I see a death date, I know that destiny is not even changing or anything. Like, oh, okay. Sucks for you. Oh, well, I light a candle for you, right? But if I don't see a death date, that's great, because there's time for change. There's still a possibility that person can change their destined path, or get back on the right one, at least, or start correcting. You've always got time. I said this I said it in the video I'll be showing you guys. There's never a wrong time to start doing the right thing. I advocate doing the right thing. And I do the right thing all the time. And yeah, that gets me hurt. I don't give a flying. Really? I don't give a flying flip-flop. Because I'm never going to stop doing the right thing. And that really pisses people off. And I don't fucking care. Because I'm not like them scum. I like to help people. That's what I do. That's who I am. I'm not going to change for anybody or anything, ever. I'm sick and tired of people thinking if they can't change me, they'll try and destroy my life. So I what? Take myself out? Are you serious? They're dealing with a Sigma female, first of all, but they don't know anything about me. They don't know that, do they? No, they do. Which will probably make a lot of sense to them, and that's going to piss them off. They're going to be like, God, no wonder everything we did didn't work. Oh, my herbal tea, my little flower. So, anyway, I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to let you watch the preview of the video. It's going to kind of make sense, but now you'll understand why I'm sort of doing this clarity update. If you want to watch the rest of that video, IIDR24, that is not airing until March. I have reasons why my videos go out at certain times, for a reason. Those are divinely orchestrated that way. They were meant to go out. There's like 6 dimension, 7 dimension, 8 dimension. I'm already working on 9th dimension. So there's going to be like a full month of higher dimensional IIDR reports, and they're coming they're coming codes and everything. But I was ready to do them in February. Obviously now I understand why they weren't meant to go out in February, because I've got a lot to deal with, and I've got to go try and get over to England and everything, right? So everything's making, and that's why there was like a push them back to March. But there's also something else happening right now on the ether. Well, I know there's a major battle going on in the ether right now, but on the physical realm, there's some stuff going on in the collective, which is another reason, not the main reason why they had to be sort of held back. But it doesn't matter because it's all time stamped. And I discussed when I'm doing when I'm receiving the intel, I discuss the times and dates and everything. So what's what I'm discussing, if it happens after that, you know, it don't really matter. I already predict, I already show it, so it don't really matter. But that's why I timestamp and do everything this way. So, and a lot's happening. And then when you watch those videos, that's going to make sense. And you're probably going to start seeing a lot of those, the results of that too. But like I say, the full link, I'll put the full link in the contents box in this video. So if you want to watch the full version of the video, when it comes out, just click it and you'll just get a reminder just to sort of like remind me when it airs, and then click on it and go for it. If you're not subscribed to me, absolutely subscribe. I'm always putting videos up. Absolutely. If you like my stuff, you like my content, go for it. Now, before I leave here, I'm going to leave this here, let you guys and gals watch the next part of the video, the snippet preview. But the next video I'm about to do, I'm going to be discussing my books that are going on a part of the energy tour and what's available to get from me, etc. So I will see you all again very, very soon. Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Karen Mikowski, aka Butterfly Karen. Welcome. So welcome to this evening's interactive remote viewing session. This is going to be case IIDR24 as promised. Intuitive intelligence. Let me just let me log the date and everything right now. 7:17 p.m. Okay, and it's the 29th of January 2024. Let me get that logged down to IIDR the 24. Okay, so basically, where's my other pen? This one might run out on me, so let me try this. Ooh la la. Okay. So, I'll try that one. Interesting. This is basically, I'm going to pretty much be sort of connecting to 8D, the 8th dimension tonight. I've been feeling it coming in all day. I started connecting to 8D this morning, around 6:22 a.m. Ooh, there was a lot going on. There's some weird sort of downloads coming in. So, but I was seeing a lot of visuals of stuff that I needed to know about. But I'm not sure. I feel like some of them sort of resonate to the collective too, which is why I wanted to sort of meditate on it. Which is why I'm going to do the session tonight and let you guys and gals sort of watch me work. But I wanted to, I'm going to remeditate on this sort of stuff because I want to make sure there's nothing coming in. There was a lot coming in, but I want to sort of get clarity on this morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to discuss this morning's weird stuff. Now, 2024, like I said in different sort of messages, in different videos now, it's the sort of year of karma, the cause and effect on a global scale. It's necessary. It's happening whether people want it or not, right? No one's got a choice. But what's going to happen is a lot of people, you're going to sort of start thinking about people from the past. People from the past are probably going to start reconnect or trying to reconnect with you, dreaming about people from the past you haven't seen in years. That's already started happening this week. It is the weirdest thing. Like, normally when I'm sort of on a different realm, different dimension, and I'm seeing people from my past in sort of sleep state, I always have to write those names down because there's a good chance that there's only two things that are going to happen. They're going to either get in touch with me just randomly out of the blue, or they're going to pass over. It's their end of time. You know, that's normal for me. It's not nice to hear, which is why I will not be mentioning those names. But that's usually what it is for me. It's always a heads up from my guardians to let me know you're about to lose another friend or a loved one. And it sucks, but that's just the way my life has always been. That's not going to change. And I just got used to that, unfortunately. So strangely enough, this morning I was connecting with an old friend from school I haven't seen in years, and we sort of lost contact years ago. But I was watching her reading a Bible, and my first thought was, what are you doing? You're not a believer in anything, so why on earth are you reading the Bible? Which kind of told me there's a symbolic side to that I may actually hear of this person's passing, and it's almost like she could be at the end of coming to the end of her life and evaluating everything and maybe looking for faith at the end, that's not a bad thing. But I just remember sort of being amused by, you're serious right now? Why are you reading the Bible? Because I knew this person really well. But again, as people grow and people change anyway over time as we get older. So usually people can find faith in different things, but this particular person was an absolute atheist in everything. So I'm very low vibrational too, but you know, that's okay, because sometimes the non-believers can usually find some sort of faith in something over time. So, but for me, it was more, I've got to just be ready for that bad news. And that's two people this week. A former squaddy friend I feel I'm going to hear bad news about, and an old school friend. So it's like, you know, if I'm right, what I will do is if that happens, I will do an updated video, because I'll do a sort of Sunday service condolence video on those people too, if that's the case. But this is just sort of timestamp for that reason. My field is very hard to prove. This is why I don't have a problem talking about it and discussing everything, and why I always get the heads up. But it's the only way I can sort of prove my field. It's paranormal science, parapsychology. So I'm very transparent. What you see is what you get. I don't hide who I am. So, and I embrace who I am. I love who I am. I love what I do. I was born to be a parapsychologist, I guess. Well, everything that I do everything's parapsychology. So parapsychological. Now, that was interesting. Now, okay, interesting. The third thing I was hearing was ghost IP addresses. It's a big problem. Ironic as this, I feel like this is where I feel like I'm going to tap into 8D, because I feel like when I went to 7D and I was getting the sort of, oh no, it was the video just recently done on online crime, and I'm discussing even sort of what I'm going through and what's really going on with spoofing and stuff like that. I thought spoofing was quite hard, but apparently it's probably not. But again, more to do with sort of as technology advances, because I was discussing how IP addresses is the big thing. It's hard to sort of clone them. Apparently, I'm being told by these experts when I'm sort of reaching out to. I pay into a membership service where my identity and everything's monitored constantly 24 hours a day. So if I see something or I get an alert, I'm going to be getting involved, like I'm on the ball. So I remember discussing, I had these experts explaining to me what spoofing is and cloning and stuff like that. And they said, you don't really need to worry about your phone being cloned because it's not to do with your IP address. But I was hearing ghost IP addresses. I'm not sure if that was to do with email addresses or phones or anything, but apparently that's becoming a big problem. So I'm actually going to be reaching out to the company again that I have monitoring my ID and everything. And just, I want to question, I'll do that tomorrow. I'm going to question more about ghost IP addressing. It could just be something that's happening, and it could be becoming a big problem. Whatever I learn from that, I'll do an update to the video regards to the online crime video, so I can keep you guys and gals up to date and try and keep you safe online, especially with catfishing and people stealing people's content. People, you know, they do. It's horrible, but that's the way it is. People are scam merchants, and that's why I don't have social media anymore. And this is why I limit my digital footprint on the internet. So I'm with you guys. This is me. There's nobody else that works for me or is affiliated with me. That's it. If anybody claims anything different, please report them or report them to me. You can go to my website. There is a chat service, or you can email me. There are ways of contacting me. You can let me know you're coming across this, and I will then go to the FBI and have these people dealt with, right? Because it is online cybercrime and stuff like that. So I'm always going to do everything I can to protect myself as much as I can. And I just want you guys and gals to do the same. So, and I just felt like that was incredibly ironic. So I'm actually, like I say, I'm going to sort of connect that to the last video. I'll do an update video. Now, I don't know what this was about, but the next visual, I was seeing a young couple in a car, and I was obviously remote viewing, but they didn't see me. They were sort of looking directly out the front window, obviously, because I feel like they were driving. But there was something about this young woman. She was like late teens to early 20s, long brown hair and brown eyes, and I got a good look of her. And then I was drawn to her t-shirt. She was wearing this white t-shirt, and it said on it, Mu Sua, Mother Uniform. Next word, Sierra Uniform Alpha Romeo, Mu Sua. Now, I've never heard of that. I don't know what that means, but it was big black bold letters, and it was right on a t-shirt. I'm like, and I visually went straight to it. So there was something to do with those words. When I was trying to look up Sua, at least, the only thing I was coming up with was another word for a pig. So I'm not quite sure what that's about, but I couldn't find anything like moo, and I could not find anything online to do with moo Sua. So if any of you guys and gals are aware of anything like that, but obviously it's documented anyway, but it was just, okay, I'm already tapped into 8D. I've already done my pre-prep and everything, so that's interesting. I was just hearing possible gang related, could be, oh, okay. Okay then. Okay, so gang related, let me just start. I've got my paper ready. Musua, interesting. I still don't know what it means, but like I said, I'm logged in, I'm clocked into 8D right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be, once I get ready and I really start zoning in and trying to get more data and intel, I'm going to put my mask on tonight as well. So I really sort of zone out. Now, the last visual I saw was the weirdest thing. So where my home is, if you walk out my back door, there's like a shed roof. So it's quite low. And then obviously you got the roof, but on that sort of part of the roof, it's quite low anyway. I have a beautiful stray cat that likes to live up there, and that's where his food is. Now, I hear this noise. So I opened my back door, and I saw this huge yellow bird that reminded me of an emu. It reminded me of the big yellow bird on Sesame Street, but I immediately heard emu. Oh, good Lord, I can't even pronounce it, an emu. But obviously, an emu is not yellow. It's not, they're black. And I remember just being startled, like it landed on my lower roof, and I'm like, what holy shit, one of those. It kind of like scared me, and it was huge, like 6 foot. These birds are huge. But it was trying to protect its babies, and I'm like, oh my God. But then the next thing, there was cats coming around and trying to attack the babies. So I picked up this huge emu with the babies, brought it into my house and put it into my big room. That will be my small parapsychology office at some point when it's blooming finished construction. But anyway, I put it there to keep it safe, and the babies with it. And I'm like, oh, I remember putting it down, and it was tall, and the bed was taller than me. I'm like, what the? And it was obviously really heavy, but it was the weirdest thing. And I'm like, okay, so there was a major symbolism going on there. Now, obviously, I sort of Googled at least what the appearance of an emu is. And it's all to do, spiritually, it's all to do with sort of strength and, like perseverance. And it's something more to do with as you're sort of moving forward and remaining strong and things like this. I mean, there may be other different meanings to it, but it was a very spiritual meaning. So I just felt weird that came through as the final thing. But then I remember I was trying to understand the cats trying to attack the bear's babies. Obviously, that's a normal thing in the animal world, but there felt like there was a protection element going on. And I mean, a lot of animals, totem animals, there's a different spiritual symbolisms for what animals represent. Sometimes there can be guardians that can come to us in, depending on what you believe in, but guardians can come in the form of animals. Like I say, I've got a big black, very beautiful ball of stray cat. He just lives on my roof, and I feel like he's my little protector. He's great. Keeps my rodents at bay and everything, because we live in the desert. But this was just not, it was almost like it landed on my home, obviously. So it kind of, I was meant to find this thing. It wasn't real. This is the visual I was seeing, but it felt real because I walked out of my house and everything. I'm like, oh, and I just found an emu. An emu just were trying to protect its babies, and it couldn't stand up. So that's why I picked it up, and that would never happen. But anyway, so like I said, it was struggling to stand up, and I just, it's weird because when I'm feeling like, what was the symbolism in that? What was the message there? And it all just felt like, keep going. Like, do not give up now, because and this is probably for me, but also it could be anybody that is on their spiritual journey right now, and it's really tough and it's hard, and you've come this far and you've got through major obstacles and everything. Do not give up now. If you've come, I feel like a lot of people in the collective are right at that pinnacle peak, that point now of, well, there's no return. You're not ever going to go backwards. You're never going to go low vibrational again. You're never going to go into the matrix system again. If you've sort of escaped it, I mean, we've got to sort of exist within it because we can't do it, but we can learn to live differently. This is coming through. So this is what this is about. Okay, I'm going to take the data coming in before I zone out and zone back in. Okay, so if you feel like you've escaped this matrix system, a lot of, okay, I've just heard a lot of what we see isn't what we see. It's not real. It's dysfunctionally scary that a lot of what we're surrounded by, even people, it's like they're not even real. Like, not all of them. I'm just saying, like, who's the real ones and who's the AI? I feel like I constantly feel like we're living in a fishbowl. I remember my father once said to me when I was, he said, how do we know we're not a little ball, blue ball earth, we're not in a fishbowl, like, and we've got people like bouncing as like balls, and there's different sort of analogy he was trying to explain, but I remember thinking, oh God, that was deep. And I think I was only like 9 years old, and I remember intently going, well, what if we are controlled like that? I mean, what if maybe that's my fascination back then at 9, to delve into probably higher dimensions to figure out what's going on. Is my dad, because my dad was a smart man.